Okay, today we are going to be investigating the properties of metals and nonmetals. We are going to be reviewing the lab that we did in class. For starters, we need to go over 3 different definitions. The first one we're going to look at is luster. Luster is how shiny or dull an element it is. If it is very shiny, it is known as being lustrous. Next, we have malleability, how bendable an element is. If it is very bendy, it is considered malleable. Lastly, we have conductivity, which is how much an element conducts electricity. If it is able to conduct electricity, it is considered a conductor. The next section right here, these 2 paragraphs, are the information you need to read to understand this lab. It explains to you what the periodic table is and all the elements and how the elements are classified, and it talks about the fact that elements are classified according to their properties. We are going to be looking at the 3 properties listed right here today. Scrolling down here, we're going to be going through the lab as quickly as possible. We have samples of each of the elements. Here are the samples of each of the magnesium, aluminum, copper, iron, and zinc. I've already used sandpaper to sand some of these down so that we can see their luster. Luster only shows up if you sandpaper them down, unless they're already shiny. Now, if we look carefully at each of these, we see that each of these is actually shiny. Copper, if you sand it down, it's shiny. And then we have iron here, which is shiny, and zinc, which is also shiny. So all 5 of these elements are considered to be lustrous, or to have luster. The next thing we're going to be looking at is conductivity. Now, unfortunately, we were unable to get to the conductivity probes. And so instead of doing anything for conductivity, we are going to just cross out the conductivity section. We're not going to worry about it. The next thing we're going to be doing is to attempt to bend each sample using the tweezers. I am not going to use tweezers because I am the teacher and I can break the rules a little bit. As we can see, magnesium bends. Aluminum, just like aluminum foil, bends plenty. Copper, like a penny, doesn't really bend. Then we have iron, which does bend, surprisingly. You wouldn't expect that of iron because it has a reputation of not bending, of being very solid. And then here we have zinc, which also bends. So all of these elements are considered to be malleable, which is found right here. The last test is going to be to check if it reacts with acid. So I am going to add hydrochloric acid to each of these samples. And as you can see, magnesium is reacting already. Note the reaction that is happening with magnesium. We have bubbling, and you can see a bit of a smoky substance coming off of it as well. Those are signs that it is reacting with the acid, with the hydrochloric acid. Also, if you look carefully, you can see the zinc is reacting as well. If we can zoom in a little bit there, you can see bubbles forming there. And if you look at the aluminum, copper, and iron, there is no reaction at all. In conclusion, this is what your data table should look like. This needs to go into your lab write-up. You need to include luster, malleability, reaction with acid, and evidence of the reaction with acid. As you can see, there was bubbling and there was production of gas in both the magnesium and zinc. The others did not react. So hopefully this will help you to complete your lab write-up. Remember, all parts of the lab write-up that are in the rubric are expected to be completed. And that's pretty much it. Take care. Bye-bye.